push Eden in a wheelbarrow. Take turns every 3 feet.
Trundle in constant motion to chase oasis, edge towards blades of sunlight.
Not much grows. It's difficult to look past plastic plants buried next to the dead and grief which is not biodegradable.
Ratify the malcontent with turned-in toes.
Colours change, but hold the mirage. Then what's left?
So be it.
Amen.
So be it.
A conscience. James rarely confesses willingly, save for Friday nights when he speaks freely through exhaled marijuana leaves. His intoxicated confidant, Joanna, breathes heavily, dictating the tide of smoke that drifts around their heads. Joanna's tattered soul is held together by the glue removed from the soles of her shoes and the tack from the sticky buds and fresh sacks in her stomach. James thinks they both know too much, and he can't decide if it's a privilege.
Oversharing of burdens makes for rolled shoulders.
It's cold in the apartment. James shuffles back into swallowing folds of duvet and pulls a blanket up to his face. He mumbles from behind his veil like a widow incanting her husband's eulogy. Narcissism is sweet relief. He gives this moment to Joanna and gives his vulnerable past to the easy forgetfulness of their situation.
It's complete devotion to an undefined cause.
They vomit taboos as though exchanging post-church pleasantries.
Neither of them mention God.
They wake the next morning, intimate but separate, stained with orange streaks from Watsits and sticky patches of strawberry jam that they wash off in something akin to a ritual.
Neither of them feel unburdened.
They both know too much. Nevertheless, they reconvene weekly. Sometimes is best society.
John is quietly in love with one angel's empty glare. His name is Mammon. His head is angled down to the ground 30 feet below. John can feel the fibers on Mammon's sleeve gently lifting the hairs on his forearm. He keeps the angel at his right hand.
Truth be told, John doesn't want to clothe anyone.
The moment the material leaves the life form of its angels to grace human bodies, it's tainted. Some say this transition is beautiful. These garments are fulfilling their purpose. John disagrees.
The mind is its own place.
A passerby once spat up at them from the street below, in a feeble attempt to disrupt their Eden. She was contemptuous to John's contentment. She struggled to see him so happy. locked into bliss with an ethereal other. She couldn't fathom the inadequacies of her own fleshly form.
Is its own place. For him, her being was sullied by the cacophony of the streets, a clumsy articulation of limbs.
His spit duly returned, thicker than when it had left. She wiped saliva from her eyes, squinting blearily through viscous film. John blurred. He would eventually have to clamber down from his fragile utopia when the shoppers left, when his shift ended.
But for now, he was in best society.
Traffic answers with a hum.
The monotonous chug of guzzled petrol is pleasant, but the shrill singing from inside is more entertaining.
She is envious that she works at the main stage.
This is not the first time she's felt like an outsider. There's an unusual yearning, a shared language of sorrow in the scripted voices of the karaoke machine. Her room is fretted with images of half-exposed pre-Raphaelite women, fingers tangled in knots of hair, eyelids half shut in an opiated dream. A filion is arched above her headrest, lips slightly parted, palms open.
Phoebe's beds are comparatively plain.
The following evening, whilst passing the pub, she lingers in the doorway of the door. She observes the crepe paper faces of women whose skin was once taut, but has since withered. Her eyes climb the rungs of their wrinkles.
She whispers carelessly along to their singing.
Phoebe bows her head in reverence, stepping out of synthetic strip lighting. At home, she returns to the solitude of her bathtub and sings into shampoo bottles and back ends of Gillette razors. She listens in the mirror. She is praying to a myth of herself that is forcefully rendered. This is where she prays easily. Breathing is a considered litany to the primitive.
She sinks beneath the surface as the bath runs and feels displaced.
The mossy green of the shower curtain sags, soaked. It drags at the concertinaed edge as ring binding is drawn full stretch. This is the chrysalis for her transformation. In these drowsy hours of relaxing vulnerability, she imagines herself as a filion, beauty in death, forever immortalized through paint and postcard reproductions.
She does not want to. She does not want to grow old. She does not want to.
She is no longer singing. Water trickles over the side panel. The ferocious cascade of the tap is ceaseless. Her skin draws lines where the soap floats, made with real violence.
Breathing is a considered litany to the primitive.
Her lips are parted. Her palms are open.
Zara's long hair swings so smoothly it contrasts with her angular elbows, tucked away allowing Abigail to move closer. They sway together, conversing without words.
Abigail dreams of sweat and wakes leaking guilt.
They cling together like condensation. Zara's body is a reminder of her own, small and cushioned at the corners. It's simple to pull away, to slide sideways into her dressing gown and downstairs into the kitchen. The brashness of bacon-infused air is burned into a part of her which is still semi-conscious, a part that is killed in some cautious post-coital haze. Others are outside.
She can hear chatter, tentative babble over breakfast.
When they catch sight of her, the inquisition begins. They are greedy for answers. She ignores their questioning and looks to the garden. It's no spectacle, though there are glimmers of a natural paradise amongst concrete slabs. Daffodils wilt, ivy climbs recklessly, birds waltz together on the roof. Any illusion of an Eden, however, is deconstructed by sirens and tower blocks and stray rivulets and street lamps that flicker in early afternoon.
Are you going to ask her to breakfast?
The others stare in anticipation of an answer. They are eager to learn of Abigail's interests, curious about her taste in dance partners. She sighs at the unavoidable reality of it all.
She wishes some secrets could stay forever unconfessed, that they could remain between flesh and flesh.
But this is an inevitable morning after, a ritual of begrudging realization. Zara comes downstairs without invitation and begins the process of making coffee. Even with sets of intrusive eyes watching her.
Do you want one?
The gesture is bold. It's unexpected. They sit in the lounge away from the baying crowd. Any fleeting bodily understanding between them dwindles. They are uneasy in each other. She hopes she leaves.
How's yours?
Abigail opens her palms. They still dance together as they dance with everyone else.
It's rude not to, but there exists a heavier undertone between them now.
It's simpler to dance with strangers. You can give them parts of yourself and they don't recognize the significance. Unsettled. Splashes of ice shards falling into the water can be heard faintly on the horizon against the tangled slap of the sea. Cornelia squints until waves begin to look like
blades of grass, blown back and forth with the flurrying winds that lick up the ocean into an unresolved puzzle.
Anchored, it's as though Illinois is suspended in a garden in the coldest reaches of the earth.
This ocean is unclaimed. Cornelius turns to these tumultuous waters for consolation. He stands on the deck and rocks up and down and up and down with the rise and fall, the swell and scoop, the peak and trough of the chop of the waves. Frost gathers on his eyelashes as he absorbs the pleasant solitude of the evening. He thinks of Ahab and of Santiago and of myths he'd been told as a boy. He read Treasure Island and Tintin and imagined adventure.
He seeks thrill in infamous icy depths.
He thinks of the Kraken and the Hydra and the Leviathan. Jimenez usually tears through the landscape, leaving scraps in her wake, but today she is static.
Her body is bright red, her ruby fixed in boreal waters.
Beasts habitually keep a wide berth from her ruin. But now, as she boorishly accessorizes their habitats, they take their opportunity to investigate. A convoluted mass enters the shadow of the hull, and ripples steal Cornelius's attention. The boat's lights only escape the immediate meters as the mass moves in the shallows.
Fluorescent and globular.
He hurries to the safety rail. There's no telling how large this creature is. Any boundaries blur with the convulsing undercurrent in its undulating movement. Cornelius grasps the harpoon that lies waiting. He balances the barrel on the cold steel of the stern and shuffles his feet, adjusting his gaze.
Staring down the metal spine of the gun, he rocks up and down, with the rise and fall, the swell and scoop, the peak and trough and chop of the waves.
The beast is liquid. As he raises the craned fishing net, his trophy sags and drips through its hatched prison. The water froths in protest. Jimenez moans, and her metal creaks in veneration.
Cornelius opens his palms on his knees.
His shoulders roll over the body of the jellyfish sprawling on the deck. Red pushing through its translucent mass. Its tentacles run across the paint. It looks smaller out of water.
The beast is liquid.
It wasn't a noble fight. The ferocious cascade of the ice is ceaseless. 3 feet.
Trundle in constant motion to chase oasis, edge towards blades of sunlight. Breathing is a considered litany to be primitive.
Not much growth space.
Considered litany to be primitive.
It's difficult to look past plastic plants buried next to the dead, and grief which is not biodegradable.
Ratify the malcontent with toned-in tones.
Colours change, but hold the mirage. And what's left? So be it.
Amen.
Amen.
So be it.